Contender series. I'm Glenn Whipp, and today we're talking to Henry Winkler, who plays Gene Cousineau in the TV series Barry. Yeah, welcome.
The Los Angeles evening was wrapped in a golden sunset, the kind that made the Hollywood Hills look like an oil painting. Henry Winkler sat on his back porch, a cup of tea in his hand and decades of stories behind his eyes. At 79, the man once known as the Fonz had seen it all: fame, failure, redemption, and quiet peace. He'd always been kind, polite, the gentleman of Hollywood. But on this particular evening, something shifted.
Who do I have to be cool for? You let me show the emotional side of this guy, I'll do it.
During an intimate interview for a documentary about his life, the director asked a question Henry had never answered publicly. Henry, you've worked with hundreds of actors. Were there ever people you just couldn't stand? Henry chuckled softly, his eyes glinting with both mischief and exhaustion.
First of all, I'm out of practice. And second of all, it takes schooling and,
You went to the Yale School of Drama.
You know, he said, after all these years, maybe it's time I told the truth. And so began one of the most unexpected confessions in Hollywood's long history. 1. Bill, the perfectionist tornado. Henry leaned back, remembering the chaos of his early days on a set filled with nerves and egos. Bill was something else, Henry began. Brilliant, sure. But exhausting. Bill was a perfectionist, the kind who'd demand 30 takes for a single line, not because it wasn't good enough, but because he didn't feel right about it. Henry recalled how entire days disappeared while Bill tinkered with emotions and timing like an engineer obsessed with screws. There's a difference between caring about your craft and controlling everyone else's, Henry sighed. Bill crossed that line every day. Their friendship evaporated halfway through the shoot. When the film wrapped, Henry left the set without saying goodbye, and he never saw Bill again. 2. Cynthia, the queen of cold shoulders. Henry's eyes softened at the memory, though there was a flash of pain behind his grin. Cynthia was cold, not cruel, just made of ice. They'd worked together in the mid-1980s, during a time when Henry was trying to reinvent himself after Happy Days. Cynthia was already a big star, elegant, respected, and impossible to impress. She didn't greet co-stars, didn't chat between takes, and treated Henry like an invisible man.
First of all, I'm out of practice. And second of all, it takes schooling and,
You went to the Yale School of Drama, Henry. Come on.
One time I told her she gave a great performance, he recalled, smiling faintly. She turned to me and said, "I know." That was it. Just 2 words. By the end of filming, Henry realized he'd been trying to earn approval from someone who never offered it. It wasn't hatred born of anger, but of disappointment. 3. Tony, the loudest man in Hollywood. The mere mention of Tony made Henry laugh. "Oh, Tony," he said, shaking his head. He could talk a mile a minute, and half of it was bragging. Tony was a rising comedian who'd been cast alongside Henry in a late 90s buddy film. On screen, they were supposed to be partners. Off screen, Tony treated every moment like a performance. He'd interrupt takes to tell jokes. He'd talk over the director. He even tried to rewrite the script to make himself look better, Henry recalled. The crew called him the Hurricane. After weeks of tension, Henry finally told him, "Tony, sometimes the quietest moment is the funniest one." Tony laughed in his face. They never worked together again. 4. Richard, the shadow of jealousy. Henry's tone grew heavier. "Richard, that one still stings." Richard had been a friend before they became co-stars. 2 young actors with big dreams. But when Henry landed Happy Days and became a national icon, something changed between them. Jealousy is poison, Henry said quietly. It turns friends into strangers.
To find out how much I don't enjoy we. Whoa. Meeting Bundy.
When they reunited for a film years later, Richard couldn't hide his resentment. Every compliment was laced with sarcasm. Every scene was a contest. By the end, Henry said, I realized he didn't hate me because of who I was. He hated me because I was a reminder of who he thought he should have been. 5. Vanessa, the master manipulator. Henry's smile returned, but this time it was tinged with disbelief. Vanessa could charm a statue, he said, and she knew exactly how to use that. She'd been cast as his co-lead in a small indie drama. Behind the scenes, Vanessa played everyone.
That's me. I know. Needles and pins and needles.
Flattering producers, undermining the director, and whispering rumors about her co-stars. She'd smile at you, then twist your words 5 minutes later, Henry said. The set became a chessboard, and we were all her pawns. When the truth came out that she'd secretly sabotaged another actor to get the role, Henry walked away from the project altogether. It wasn't hate at first, he admitted, but once you see how deep manipulation runs, it's hard to forget. 6. Michael, the method actor from hell. Henry chuckled, the kind of laugh that comes from shared misery. Ah, Michael, the method actor, he said. He was in character 24/7, and that character hated me. They'd been paired on a gritty drama, and Michael had insisted that to truly feel the tension, they couldn't speak off camera. He ignored Henry in public, refused to sit near him at lunch, and even left him out of rehearsals. It worked for the movie, Henry admitted, but it broke my spirit.
Who won that race? Hey, girls, knock yourselves out. I'm really sorry. It was a slip of the finger.
When the film wrapped, Michael came up, smiling, and said, Man, you really brought out the best in me.
Dumb geek face.
That's me.
Henry just stared at him, wondering if the man even realized how much damage he'd caused in the name of art. 7. Caroline, the hidden rival. Henry hesitated for a long time before saying her name. Caroline, he whispered, we had magic, on screen at least. They were cast together in a romantic comedy that became a surprise hit. The chemistry was undeniable, but as the praise poured in, Caroline began to resent how the press focused on Henry's comeback story. She thought I was stealing the spotlight, he said, but I never wanted the spotlight to begin with.
You're so mature. Mad Chico.
By the time they started their second film, she refused to do press with him. Behind the scenes, she complained that his humor was old-fashioned and his timing slow. The day we finished that movie, she walked right past me. No handshake, no goodbye, just gone. Henry finished his tea and smiled softly, the same warm smile that had made audiences love him for half a century. You know, he said, it's funny. People think hate sticks with you forever, but the truth is, it fades.
And his dog is in the back seat, drooling, or like inches thick. You need like...
What stays are the lessons he stood up, looking out over the darkening horizon. Each of those people taught me something. How not to lead, how to stay kind, how to survive in a business built on ego.
What would it be?
Wawa. I'll come back to that.
Pass for momentarily. Okay.
Yeah, just moment.
I may have hated them once, but I'm grateful now. As the camera rolled, the old Hollywood legend turned and added one last thought.
Hey, observe. Whoa.
If you're lucky enough to live long enough, you realize hate is just a story you outgrow. And with that, Henry Winkler, forever the Fonz, forever the gentleman, walked back into the twilight, leaving behind a lifetime of grudges, forgiven at last.